Hello and welcome to 90 in 90. My name's Amanda O'Shea from the Serendipity Experience, and I have guest number 14 in the 90 in 90 series, who is Anke Herrmann, originally from Germany, but living in Cadiz, down in southern Spain. Welcome, Anke. How you doing?
Well, hello. Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you. And I'm loving your backdrop. I'm loving it. Yeah. when I first logged on the call, I was like, what's going on there? I was like, is she on the beach? Like maybe she's in a cafe or something. And anyway, it's brilliant. I love it. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it.
I don't know how long this functionality has been around, but yeah, for anybody who wants to have a poke in Zoom video settings, virtual backgrounds, and you can have a play.
And that's great. And you just upload your photo to it, and then you've got yeah, I'm going to be playing with that. I think that's great. I think it's lovely. So there you are on the beach. And we are going to be talking about passion this evening, just for, for not too long. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet. Good luck with that one. But tell me more about what passion means to you.
Like, passion means, well, kind of every... Well, that's kind of an answer. It means everything. No, but I think it is really, rather than a particular thing, it's almost like a way of life. And I think it's really something that I'm passionate about, because I think for so long in my life, I went ahead and went forward with what was expected, what everybody did. You go to school, you go to uni, you get a proper job, and so that whole, and I remember the day when I asked myself, what is it that I really want? If I did not have to worry about, qualifications or time or money or anything, what would I want to do with my life? And like, it's almost sad to say, like, I was, I think, 37 at the time, to think that I hadn't ever considered it possible that I could actually live my life in a way how I want to live it. Yeah. And that I could actually listen to or give importance to what I felt really drawn to do. And I think that's what passion means for me. It isn't something like, oh yeah, that's kind of nice. It's almost like a physical force that comes through. It's something that you almost can't not do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And giving myself permission to actually live that. And I think that's also what I do for work now, to actually help other people give themselves that permission and actually then make it happen.
Because it's so attractive, isn't it? Passion, and it's, I think I don't know, I think there's a little bit of a kind of, I don't know, when people talk about passion, they think about, I don't know, passion in the bedroom or passion, whatever. It's like, but that's not what we're talking about. That's all great as well. But this passion that when somebody's got for life. So I find passion attractive, not necessarily what somebody is passionate about attractive.
True.
But the passion that they have, and and that's what's exciting, which means we can get into something. We can have our own experience of somebody else's passion, just by deep listening to somebody who's in that sort of state of being.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's funny. It's actually sort of more the feeling or the sensation, the electricity of passion, rather than it doesn't really matter what you're passionate about. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yeah.
And so I think it's an energy again, isn't it? We're back to being like, in the gift of life, back to being part of it. What, you know, it's like we're all involved. We're all in the recipients of the kind of experience. It's something you're described as, right? You are described as a passionate lady.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's really closely related to creativity, and actually it does come back to what you just said, that way of being. Because when you imagine, like, you know, somebody might be really into music, or somebody into, you know, little model trains, or whatever the thing is, you know, but when you allow yourself to really immerse yourself in whatever grabs your fancy at the moment, you know, there's this sense that sort of the ego, the rational mind, it kind of dissolves, it sort of disappears, and there's this straight open channel to creativity. It's like, that's when, you know, ideas come in, and you don't worry about tomorrow, you don't think about what so and so said yesterday, it just all dissolves.
Yeah.
And I think that's the addictive part of it. That's why it's such a, because you feel so rooted, so connected, and sometimes it even feels like an idea isn't even yours. You're just you're just the lucky transmitter, basically.
It is,
you know, it sort of comes through you.
You're the recipient and the observer of it, right? So you know, it's really nice. As you're talking like that, you're like merging into your picture. As you're moving around, you're merging into the sea.
Yeah.
This is just quite cute. So we met a couple, you know, we've been in the same circles for a few years within the sort of principal community. I remember meeting you in a bus station in Granada when after one of our retreats, and Deborah was late for her bus by a minute or something, and I was dropping her down there, and we got caught in this awful traffic, and you were trying to hold the coach up, weren't you, from leaving the coach to the airport. And
yeah, I remember.
I ended up having to drive all the way back to Malaga. You know, I remember that. And that was the first time that we'd ever met in person. And it was really lovely to meet you last year when we came and did the retreat down in southern Spain again, in Hidden Paradise, the Love and Clarity retreat. And you were our guide for our day trip to Granada. And, you know, that was lovely. We had... yeah, it was super, right, to have our own little tour guide. And you came in and stayed 1 or 2 nights at the retreat, didn't you?
2 nights. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, huh? Like, it was, you know, it's very special.
It was just, it's such a magical place.
Yeah.
And actually, even and I remember taking the group through Granada, and I always love that when you live in a pretty place, you know, but like when you live there every day, it's like, you know, well, bloody Alhambra, you know, I've seen that. It's like after a while, you kind of don't really. And on that day trip, like, I had moved away from, like, I wasn't living there anymore, you know, so anyway, but then if you take a group of people who see it for the first time, you have that, like, the magic is coming back.
Again.
You see it again as if you've never seen it before. You can see it again with fresh eyes. And I think it's like that sense of wonder, and that sense of appreciating the beauty in front of you. You know, we're almost back to the passion. You know, it was that, you know, because showing the place to people who hadn't seen it before, you know, really takes you back to that space of, like, wow, consciously seeing what you actually have in front of you. And it's really, I remember that I hadn't seen the place like that in a long time.
It's so like being like with a child who's seeing a butterfly for the first time, or a rainbow for the first time, or, you know, You get to relive it. It's like in the Spanish when it doesn't snow very often here. So when it does, it's like a big deal, and you know, everyone comes out.
Yeah.
But I find southern Spain very passionate. Like for me, there's a lot more passion down south. There's something about the people, their I don't know, the music or the whatever it is. There's a different sense for me. And Granada is a very passionate city, right? I get that. Like being there, there's like little hidden treasures, as you know, as Dickin was talking about. But there's just experiences to be had everywhere. And of course, it's not geographical, because when you are living from a place of passion, every conversation can be passionate.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it, just what you just said, thinking about when a child sees something for the first time, you know, that sense of wonder and enthusiasm, you know, like that is it. When you can experience and appreciate what you've got right in front of you, with your, you know, heart wide open, with all the enthusiasm and you know, excitement that a kid has. You know, I think life is so much more fun that way. And I agree with what you said, you know, in southern Spain. And sometimes I actually think it is that way of living in a less analytical way, but more like letting emotions out without that many filters, you know. And I think like flamenco is sort of the prime example of it. You know, that I think when first time I heard flamenco, it was like the first time in my life that I had like a physical reaction to music.
Oh, really?
You know, like literally, you know, my like goosebumps. And they are still there. Like there are people who, like, mostly flamenco singers, or at least some sort of, you know, there will be people who start a song and there's a certain tone and I'm crying like a, you know,
wow,
like
it touches you.
Yeah, and it goes straight to the soul. And I think it's that straight from the gut out, without the, you know, well, but it has to be like this, and you know, without all those sort of rational mind filter. I think it's probably what brought me here. And realizing it's something that I had no idea when I started with my crazy idea of, oh, let's just move to Spain and start a sewing business, making flamenco costumes. You know,
that's right.
I didn't know how many people all over the world were passionate about flamenco. Like I had literally had no idea. I knew there was quite a large community in Japan, and I always thought, yeah, I can see, you know, like the more that it's huge. You know, I think there's more flamenco schools in Japan than all of Spain. Like it's incredible.
Really?
And I always thought, like, yeah, I can see, like, the more sort of orderly and restricted and constrained a culture and a society is, the more people crave that, like, something where they can just basically let it all out. You know, where it comes through from the gut and it goes straight out. You know, and they're really addicted to it. But then I didn't know, you know, that, you know, Australia has a large community. You know, New Mexico is huge. They've got like a feria like Sevilla, but bigger than Sevilla. And I didn't know. And I always think that there's, you know, I'm not the only one craving that rawness, that, you know, like bypassing the filters.
Yeah, that's lovely. So, you know, you get to enjoy it, and that's all around. It can be around us. It doesn't have to, you know, we don't have to be in southern Spain. We don't have to be in wherever we, you know, it's a passion is part of who we are at our true essence. You know, that's as I see that, you know, our passion is released when we're in that state of love, where you know, it's an expression of love. So the more we hang out in that zone, and the more that we hang out with people that are in that way, then it's quite infectious, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's quite, it's a good infectious vibe.
Yeah. And I think it does take me back a lot to but that's how kids experience the world.
Yeah.
You know, the sense of curiosity and everything. And who said that? Who said, well, either everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle?
I don't know.
You can, like, I don't know, there's some saying that this, you know, there's two ways to look at the world. Either nothing is a miracle or everything is a miracle.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to find that out. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Nothing is a miracle, or everything
is a miracle.
Okay.
And when you think about it, you know, if you look at everything as a miracle, then yeah, like that's pure passion. And that's what kids do, you know, and I think that is our natural state.
So how lucky to see that, how lucky to be able to embrace that, and how lucky to be able to share with passion, which is what I see. You know, I see that lots of us do, and that's lucky. And that's, I think, why it's so lovely to be, you know, when we work together, we have fun and we laugh, and it's, you know, it's great. It's great to work from that place, because for me, that is the, you know, that is the health of the helper. That is, as Joe Bailey would say, you know, where somebody is at, that's what lands on other people. That's what they take away. It's not so much, you know, maybe what they're saying, or it's the place where somebody's at. That's what somebody feels. That's what somebody, you know. So how lovely, Miss Passion Fashion, down there with your flamenco, sort of your dressing the whole of southern Spain. I bet you're very well known already, aren't you? Because you were living further up. You were living more near Granada for a long time.
Well, I was living right in the heart of Granada for a very long time. Yeah, basically for 14 years, 14 and a half. Wow. And so like that, last year we moved to Cadiz, and yeah. And it's but see, the funny thing is that like now I'm hardly sewing now, you know, because and that has been sort of an evolution as well. It's like making something, you know, there's that, I mean, I can never stop making stuff, like I'll always make stuff, but professionally to shift from dressing a particular dancer or a group of dancers to helping other people bring their passion to life, you know, I think sort of the impact and it's just a different ball game.
That's amazing. So you've got tell us what you've got coming up, like a podcast or a passion.
I started a podcast a few months ago, you know, and it's called the Passion Business Podcast. Passion Business Podcast, and it's really a tool to help people who have something they're passionate about and want to turn that into a business, to basically help them see how it's possible. Because I think there is a lot of, you know, what you said, like, oh, it's always very romantic, this whole idea of passion. And then people kind of like, oh yeah, I want to live my passion. And then they start going for it. And then it's like, oh, Jesus, like there's just so much stuff. And then before you know it, you can easily get yourself into a spin, because there's this information overload. Everybody tells you what to do. In the end, you're like, and there's a lot of stuff that's taught that sets expectations, that set people up for doubts and, you know, overthinking and procrastination, and well, ultimately you're like, well, this isn't for me. So what I wanted to do is really talk to, like, every day. I didn't want famous people with 7-figure businesses, because, you know, somebody who has a passion to teach yoga on the beach, you know, isn't going to be relating to that person, you know. But I wanted like normal people, you know, like just you and me, who have gone out and say, well, okay, this is what I'm passionate about and I'm going to go for it, and have them share their story. And it was sort of a bit of an experiment for me to see, well, we'll see whether my theories actually hold up. And it's, you know, and you can see how the twists and turns that people went through, and the challenges, and also basically, yeah, it is actually possible and you can do it your way. So, you know, and that started out as like, well, you know, sounds like a good idea, and it's been incredible. Yeah, and so there is also a passion business retreat in the air for next year. So, but that's still sort of early stages, and it's that same concept behind it, because when you can come from that place of passion, of something that, yeah, I really want that, it's because something I feel drawn towards, rather than, oh, I better do this to avoid whatever. You know, that is when we are at our most powerful. So I want to invite people to come to the south of Spain to really feel that, and use flamenco and the music and the movement, and use all that to give people a pretty physical experience of what that is like, to come from that place of, you know, passion and
amazing. I'll be there.
So,
okay, I think that's a lovely place to leave it, and thank you very much for being here, and thank you for looking after us so well when we were down there in southern Spain. And
oh, my pleasure. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was
I lovely. Just wish I had time to be there longer.
I know, but we might see you soon, hey? So we'll see you when we're looking at you.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of love.
Thanks so much for having me.
Bye, Anke. Thank you, lovely. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.